pop in.
I see him in the watch together.
Yeah, I know. That's weird. Alrighty. Well then, good afternoon, folks, and welcome to Smudcast number 501, Kingdom Hearts: The Fated Franchise. Now, you might think we're crazy here, finally covering a Kingdom Hearts video. Apparently, this is a good one. This is not a crazy story, go from A to B to C, and try to follow along the logic of the continuity of these multiple games. We're just talking about Kingdom Hearts 1, and I believe 2. I don't know.
And Chain of Memories.
Okay. Chain of Memories is the mobile one or the GBA game?
Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, okay. That I've heard of. Okay, I haven't played it, but whew. Okay, so it's not going to drive us nuts is what I'm saying. We're going to be fine. This is not a story breakdown or analysis or character understanding of what's happening. It's just the games as a game, I think. So we're going to be good. Mark's going to be fine. He's not going to run around his house hurting himself and tripping over himself and asking why he's still alive and all these other
Not yet, at least.
Well, yeah, not yet. Hopefully.
I just like this is kind of like those weird experiences, like you see like North Korean survivor, defector, like escaping from you know where. Right. Just like you just want to see it. Yes.
What happens when you go to Northern South Korea and you become an English teacher?
English teacher, yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
That's what happens when you try to follow along. But hopefully that won't happen. So this is, let me just take a look at this video. Okay, this came out 2 years ago in November. Has about 140,000 views from a gentleman of the name of K-Bash. 107,000 subs. And 7.5 thousand upvotes, 113 downvotes. Don't know why. Why would people dislike this? I don't know. Who knows? But it's a good video, according to the people who watch him. So it's about gaming. So it's Kingdom Hearts. Let me just look at the description. 1, Chain of Memories, and 2. For some reason, I have HD 1.5 and 2.5 remix on the YouTube selection. Like when you make your video, you can select which game this is associated with, and he chose the was that a release, like a mix release, or was that?
So those are the definitive editions of the Kingdom Hearts games. Those released on the PS3, PS4, Xbox, and PC.
Huh.
The only game that is not playable in those are 358 and Coded.
Okay, so why are they called 1.5? It's just taking it
because it's the international release of Final Mix for the first time ever in the history of Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, so they made a international release has like all kinds of language support and voice acting and what have you, I guess.
Yes.
All right, so they gave it a fancy number like 1.5. Okay, fine, fair enough. Not too confusing yet, but same game. Good stuff. Okay. Whoo-hoo. All right. So this is half an hour long. I don't know how long this will take us to go through because Ginga Man is not here yet. And I believe Joe Crazy will join us later as well. So they are also big Kingdom Hearts fans. And I'm sure they'll have lots to say because they do enjoy this franchise. So if not, we'll have Mr. Cyrek to fill in the blanks for us. It's been such a long time since I played Kingdom Hearts, and that was the original one. So I enjoyed it for the first few hours. That was not like I didn't rent the game. I didn't buy the game. I was working at a game store at the time, and I was playing it while it was on display. So that's as far as I went. I didn't have a memory card, so I had to keep going for the whole day. But it was fun. The controls are fun. The music was great. The visuals were cool. I was lost as to what was happening very quickly, but it was fun enough to jump around and bop things over the head with your magical keyblade thing. So anyway, let's get going.
The time has come, and so have I! Ah yes, Kingdom Hearts. The series that needs no introduction. Except this 23,000-page lore manual! Nope, shut it up, dweeb, we'll do it live! So this is part 1 of my Kingdom Hearts series retrospective as funded by patrons. Thank you all so much. And also, how dare you? We'll try our best to fit the games into meaningful groups for expediency, but Kingdom Hearts lends itself pretty well to that format anyway, because its narrative, plot, even design elements tend to come in waves. The first trio on offer tells its own contained story, slides from surprisingly effective.
So does Sora is the only one who has the gigantic feet? It's just him?
No, that's not just him. It's also Riku, Kairi, pretty much anyone that is related to Sora in some way have the big goofy feet.
But
I like that it's more like the first thing that he mentions that like, oh, he has like big feet.
well, yeah, it's clown shoes. Like it's like what you can't take this game seriously if you're running around in clown shoes. You're like, what the hell is
That's how little like you can like recognize or remember of the character. That like, oh, it has like big clown shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then he also gets upgrades to his outfit throughout the games because the first one is zippers. 2 is
Zippers.
Yeah, lots of zippers. Zippers everywhere. 2 is belts that do nothing for you. They're just style. And then 3 is plaid.
So the first game, he's Michael Jackson. The second game, he's Lulu from Final Fantasy X. And the third game, he's Canadian. Okay. That's that's great. I love it. Anyway, back to our not clown-shoed characters here.
Melodrama to hilarity, all while spinning this beautiful meta-narrative tapestry all about fate. It's so... we gotta talk about it. So, Kingdom Hearts, the fated franchise. Now, you guys know me. I gotta get the me out early so we can have basic integrity. So how would K-Bash describe Kingdom Hearts? Kingdom Hearts is apparently an action RPG where some Moonshoe crotchling savagely bludgeons a series of beloved childhood characters to death with the help of literally Donald Duck and Goofy, and drops fat loads in the holes of every world he visits. But did anyone expect better from me? More accurately, it's a game about an idyllic situation being disrupted.
They all have big shoes. All right, that's fair enough. I can't remember that part.
Yes.
They are not humans.
Yeah,
They're anime characters.
Of the 3 main groups, there's Sora, who is the main character here, Riku, who's the silver-haired one, and then the plot device known as Kairi.
Oh, yes, the walking plot device. Fantastic. Always love those characters. Okay, here's JJJ Madness. Oh my god, Smud, are you actually going to do a Kingdom Hearts video? I thought you wouldn't touch this series due to the insane story. Apparently, this video is not going to drive you crazy, so that's why we're doing it. I might be tempted to do other ones from this guy if he's this good at it, but the ones that I have seen, I had to turn off within like 3 minutes because they were just, they were terrifying.
I remember that you actually got like super chats like years ago that they wanted you to play through this game.
Oh god, playing it might be a bit easier than watching an analysis of the story because the story is just so messy and hard to follow with all these characters and how the characters come about and what they are, how they exist, where physically, how they like. It's kind of hard to like. Are they a dream? Are they a fabrication of someone? Is it magical? It's very hard to follow, and that's where my brain just sort of turns off. I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, the series itself, there's 4 worlds. There is the world of reality, which everybody lives in, the world of light, which all the worlds exist within, the world of darkness, where all the worlds that get consumed by the Heartless end up, and then there's the world of unreality, which is brand new to the franchise.
Okay.
Which is, unreality is our world.
What?
Yeah, Sora and Riku are currently in Tokyo at the moment.
Of course they are. Of course.
Like the real Tokyo.
Yes.
And he's walking around with those shoes. I don't know. That's a little hard to believe.
No. He actually doesn't have those shoes. He has normal feet now.
Oh. Okay. So his body is not some weird clown, gigantic, like Bigfoot man. He's a normal person with shoes the size of, 3 times his size for no reason.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's a design choice. He likes it. All his friends like it. It's a fad. Fair enough. They were young. They were young and dumb and goofy.
Corrupted, a call to action, and a hero chosen by destiny. Classic hero's journey. Friendship is the biggest staple of the first game, and the narrative conceit is the universe lost its remover. Kingdom Hearts is the kind of game that could have failed. I'm just not sure if we're talking 5% or a fraction of 1. And while its inception is...
beating up Squall is probably worth it. I mean, if you're going to do that in a game, and you're going to have characters from another franchise, and it happens to have Squall, it might be worth your time.
Also, Mark, there's the answer to the question that you had earlier.
Yes.
Popping up there on screen.
What? What is that?
A chance meeting between Hashimoto and a Disney executive in an elevator. Square and Disney had previously worked in the same building in Japan, which allowed him to pitch directly to the Disney executive the idea for the game.
That could
imagine
rival.
if some other studio was in the same building, I don't know, that house, or
the guys who do.
What is that crazy one? I can't remember.
The guys who do Berserk, just get those guys.
That's Pokemon. That's Pokemon.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Yeah. Those guys they made Berserk and then they just got commissioned by Nintendo to make Pokemon anime. And they have been doing that ever since.
Okay. Well. I like the fact that but lamented that only characters as popular as Disney could rival a Mario game. It's like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, yeah.
At the time, yeah. Because Crash wasn't doing well, Spyro wasn't doing well at the time. And then Kingdom Hearts comes along with Disney characters and all the kids are like, Mom, Dad, I want to play the game with Donald and Goofy.
Little did they know what they were getting themselves into. Anyway, the first game is probably not as bad as the others, but it was still hard to follow.
Isn't a mystery, it does raise eyebrows. Mashing Final Fantasy and Disney together is weird. Okay, think of what that implies. Christopher Robin and X-Death. Yeah, I don't know about that. Sold! And sell it did, though as a somewhat risky play, shooting at a hazy demographic with the pitch and core gamers in the execution. The first installment is the epitome of basic. All told, good choice considering where the series ended up. And it's not bad being basic, even without the mechanical advancements and plot lunacy of later games, it's still a complete package experience. You got the silky visuals, the stirring songs, the crispy sounds. I can sense the love, it's palpable. The aesthetics do a lot of work selling the experience. It's why I've moved away from believing in raw gameplay. All kinds of things make meaning for people, and these are the gateways, small as they are. Now, okay, admittedly not every gateway is perfect.
You're stupid!
But overall, well cooked, guys. And you can call Square crisp because they're making bacon mechanics, if you feel me. Feel the game for 2 seconds, right? There's none of that momentum There's big obvious animations. Yeah, you linger in the air a bit long for my tastes, and you don't really get meaningful animation canceling, but the mechanics are simple and clean. It's more an action adventure anyway, not a Ninja Gaiden. And it leans heavily on its RPG mechanics as well. All that makes sense for the first game. Sora's starting figuratively and literally at level 1. Level 1.
So, he's talking about the mechanics here. The first game is the one that had probably the worst setup in the mechanics, mainly because it is the one that you have to press X constantly. Magic in the game is very underpowered, and it's honestly better to go with a strength build in that game.
Right.
Than the rest of them.
The joke was the latest Final Fantasy VII, the reiteration of Final Fantasy VII just borrowed the mechanics from the first Kingdom Hearts, and then added slow-mo and other things. But it's basically what it's going on. You're just mashing the button and doing your combos.
Yeah, I noticed that they have completely just copied the same mechanics.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, they did like plan that out like way ahead of time, that they want to like be a more active battle system than what they used to have with the turn-based one.
Right, yeah. So it's like a partial real-time something or other with blocking and what have you. All right.
I mean, I did hear that it was successful, so
Of course, yeah. People are going to buy anything remake with that looks as good as Final Fantasy VII did, even better. They're going to pick it up, and I'm surprised they broke it down into multiple games. That they're going to keep milking that series, because I thought that was a one-off project, but that's what they're doing.
I was hoping that too, but then it turned out to be like that's fucking nightmare. Like doesn't like the Final Fantasy VII remake, the first part, it literally ends when they just leave the city.
I know.
And I think like that was at the very beginning of the game.
How are they going to make exploration?
That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
like, it's like the second part's gonna be like the final part as well.
Is it going to be
Did they do like what was like the MGS5 game, the Phantom Pain? Like they did like the intro as a demo that you could buy at like a
Ground
year or
Zeroes.
half before. Yeah, Ground Zeroes. Yeah, that's the game. And then a year later you can buy the full game.
right? So
Mateus actually reminded me of something too. The reason that Sora looks the way that he does with the big clown shoes is because Square wanted Mickey to be the protagonist, and Disney told them no. And if you look in the Discord, I sent the newest iteration of Sora and the original concept art for Sora.
Huh. So they didn't give him big goofy feet for whatever.
The shoes, not the feet.
Well, I thought his feet were gigantic. That's why you have shoes.
No, they're not.
Apparently not. Yeah. So he was just running around like a clown for fun. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, JJJ Banis, again, it took 4 games and more, including spin-offs, to give Sora normal shoes. Yeah. Sometimes they just stick with the designs that work and just keep going with them. So glad someone said, hey, maybe we should let him grow up and not have gigantic clown shoes. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. That would really help with the walking. Anyway.
Being good enough to make his rival look like a boob. Riku, 20 hours from now I'll be destroying you with Bambi. How does it feel to be the tiniest baby infant man yet conceived? As far as combat options go, it's not that many things, actually. Oh, what a mess. Magic is huge, works as a strong supplement to general whackery, though I wouldn't call it a hard alternative. Attacks are infinite, MP isn't. And attacks build MP anyway, they're meant to be used in harmony. Summons exist, though you hardly need them to get through the game, a very Final Fantasy edition, except instead of dragon or god, you get Dumbo, so I guess it's exactly the same actually. Throw in several different consumables and the scale tips RPG. Throw in weapon clashing and it tips action. Sprinkle the special moves that require contextual situations and magic power to activate, and you've got what some might call a hobbling hybrid of genres and what other people call Kingdom Hearts. I don't hate it, but if you listen close, you can hear the raw action game shrieking for release from its eternal hell prison. Now, I've got a fair bit of respect for the mechanics and polish, but how's the gameplay overall?
It looks pretty clunky, actually.
It very much so.
Yes, it is.
Compared to...
It
Looks like an early PS2 game.
Well, sure, but compared to other games that have this, like the Devil May Cry series...
Mark. Yeah, Devil May Cry, 2001.
Yeah.
Yes.
The original.
Yeah, that one.
Like, it feels like, okay, this is more platformer than actual action games, so they just put the action element on top of that. And you're like, oh, that doesn't quite work. So, yeah.
How's the gameplay overall? A lot of the game is the same thing. It's not bad. We're usually nice about the prototype entries, but I gotta tell you, it was pretty disappointing having to spam the same combo for like half the game. So I could continue doing that with more magic mixed in, a couple of special moves, and a few extra combo enders. That's all. I mean, they vary the activities and the levels, and you're not forced to fight most of the time, so the bulk of the experience is fine. Really, I'm just upset there's no button to strangle Goofy. Because the RPG elements are RPG relevant, just shut me up permanently, please. Leveling up makes a big difference for the first-time player. Progressing and unlocking new abilities and stat upgrades makes the grinding feel kinda worth it, especially accompanied by all the sparkles and jingles. Collecting and crafting exist. You can do them. I think my big gameplay question is, well, why are gummy ships? Why are gummy ships? Obviously, I have the utmost respect for gummy ships, but why are they, and when does it stop? Fake out.
Yeah, the one gripe that a lot of people have is gummy ships in the first game. 2 and even 3 expanded on them. We still don't like them. But they are better handled in those games than in the first game.
Was
that?
I was going to say, was the idea to have like different modes of platforming? It's like, okay, we're going to break apart the monotony by having like this on rails shooter experience. Is that
sort of? And there's also a in-lore explanation for why you need a gummy ship to traverse to different worlds.
Oh. Okay.
And then a certain other game screws that over.
Birth by Sleep, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. So traveling throughout the worlds is a bit convoluted, let's just say, without getting into it.
Very much so.
Okay, fair enough.
Achieved. My real concern is bosses, and I get it, forum guy who writes, I never had a problem with XYZ. This game is so easy, you just need to get good. Hey cool, you can actually buy personalities now with Prime Delivery. The bosses are shockingly difficult for who this game appears to be marketed to. I mean, it's not hard off the bat, but Cerberus, Ursula, Chernobog, just a slew of bosses aren't hard in that I can't do this way.
My left
Rather, they
hand.
require an immense respect for the boss, and an amount of discipline that the rest of the game doesn't call for. Realizing that hit, run was the strategy for Cerberus, just wow. For a game all about this forward-moving, flowing combat, it's weird. I mean, I went after Ninja Gaiden for that, not celebrating, complicating, and advancing the gameplay that's already built up by the normal gameplay. And this goes double for Ursula and Chernobog, where you will die if you don't recognize the tells and haul ass. But they're plausible, and definitely ignite the fire in the player to keep going. You're not really gonna let Disney beat you, right? Oh yeah? Yeah, that's good. This is morally acceptable, Square said so, and Disney okayed it! And I'd be remiss to ignore the ending segment, which definitely hard, definitely more bosses than I thought you could fit into a final level, more repeated enemies than I thought you could fit into a final level. My thumb felt like I'd beaten the entirety of Ninja Gaiden 3. Love it. Now I know some people are worried that I hate Kingdom Hearts, and yeah, it was dragging on me, but getting through Neverland and being able to fly gave me the dumbest grin. I don't know if Disney had a magic quota they needed filled before the game shipped, but just being able to fly in 3D space, change up the gameplay a bit. It's my best memory. Paradoxically, all of Atlantica felt pretty
Mario
awful for the
64.
same reason, being a
Yeah, this is the benefit of these kinds of games, is that they don't just keep doing the same thing. Each level is different. The gummy ships break it up a bit, but it's not just running around platforming and bopping things over the head. There are changes here and there. It's not much, but it gets you from A to B.
Unfortunately, with Atlantica, which was our first iteration of the Neverland flying mechanic, just underwater,
Sucks.
it sucks. It really sucks. The reason why they turned Atlantica into a rhythm game world in 2.
Really?
And cut it out completely in 3.
Yep.
Interesting.
huge change in gameplay, but that might just be the annoying enemies, newly limited moveset and mobility options, and having to do it in the latter half when things are starting to pick up. I'd like to talk story, but frankly, if you erased almost everything between the start and end of the game, it wouldn't matter. Like I said, the first game took a simple approach, and was fairly conservative.
So the beginning and the ending of the game is completely irrelevant?
So the stuff that actually makes it a unique experience.
The gaming, but he said the story is not.
Oh, so all he cares about is the Disney. Sure.
I guess that's kind of strange. The beginning and an ending of a game is irrelevant. I'm like, wow. It's like the most.
Yeah, try telling tell that to Nomura straight to his face. Watch how much he laughs
I
at you.
would do it easily, just like that.
I've never heard someone say that. The beginning.
I will do it just now.
That's like, imagine watching, I don't know, your favorite movie and saying, the beginning, it's not that important. The ending, it's not. The really good parts, right? The middle, where like the fun stuff happens. You're like, oh, so it doesn't matter where they end up or where they came from.
It's about the friends we made on the way.
Shut up.
But you wouldn't know those friends without the beginning or the end.
Wow, what a strange thing to say. I've never heard that.
Yeah. Like, that's the whole premise that's set up in the beginning of the game and is given to you at the very end. Is like, hey, you have these friends, the world is destroyed, you have to go find them, and then at the end of the game, you find them. Though, at the end of the game as well, you're still separated because Riku is stuck in Kingdom Hearts, or what is presumed to be Kingdom Hearts.
The Realm of Darkness.
Yeah, the Realm of Darkness. And then Kairi is sent back to your original world, and you're just stuck there in the end of the world.
Eric, you also want to tell me what the beginning and end of Kingdom Hearts 1 have in common? Destiny Islands.
Yeah. Well, Destiny Island is a big part of the entirety of the Xehanort saga. Because that's built on In Dark Roads, the mobile game.
All right, let me rewind this because I'm kind of lost. Let's try again.
3D space, change up the gameplay a bit. It's my best memory. Paradoxically, all of Atlantica felt pretty awful for the same reason, being a huge change in gameplay, but that might just be the annoying enemies, newly limited moveset and mobility options, and having to do it in the latter half when things are starting to pick up. I'd like to talk story, but frankly, if you erased almost everything between the start and end of the game.
Okay, between the start and end of the game, not the start and the end.
So the Disney stuff.
So the Disney stuff, yeah.
So the middle chunk, all the filler stuff.
Okay.
Oh, all right. That's a bit more safe. Okay, that's
a bit more sensible when it comes to Kingdom Hearts.
You're still missing the climax and the bulk of the story, but usually the beginning and the ending is the most important. So okay, good.
Okay, now we get it.
All right.
Like I said, the first game took a simple approach, and was fairly conservative with the original elements, giving tons of time to Disney characters, and some to Final Fantasy drop-ins, and I think the game is only lesser for it. Like, I've heard people say Kingdom Hearts should focus on its Disney stuff, but why? I've seen every movie represented in-game, okay? The Disney stuff is just movie plots done quick, and without any overarching relevance to the actual plot emerging regarding Sora, Riku, Kairi, Ansem, these characters with room to grow, but who are constantly being ferried around, supervised, restrained by these soulless Disney husks. Finkelstein ponders briefly about the nature of the heart, something directly relevant to plot elements, and that's about as close as it gets. There exist fragments of worth in the Disney scenes, but very little of substance, making the entire inclusion, the entire fanfiction collaboration project structure seem like a facade, a cardboard city free for exploration, painted on the face, but utterly barren. Though we
and I absolutely
have
agree.
to admit, the inclusion of Winnie the Pooh level.
Okay, so it's kind of like an amusement ride at Disneyland. It's just this fun little on-rails experience. All the things you remember from the movie or a movie of Disney make. You're like,
and this is an issue all the way to Kingdom Hearts 3. All the way to the end of this saga. Especially in 3, where they literally just translate Let It Go over. One for one, with just you watching it.
Yeah, they really went all out in the whole story of this world is playing out without you interacting, where in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, you actually interacted with the story.
Now, is that the same with the Square Enix characters as well, or just the Disney characters?
The Square Enix characters are relegated to a hub world. And in Kingdom Hearts 3, there's not any Square Enix characters that I can remember.
Wow. Interesting. Okay. Huh. That is, I did not know that. So they just eliminate all the other excess franchises and say, no, we're not doing those anymore.
But they decided to do 8 worlds of Disney, and none of them are relevant.
Oh, no. So it's still filler. It's still just stuff to have in there, minus Square Enix.
Like, Kingdom Hearts 1 at least tried to put the Disney worlds to have some relevancy to the plot, because Jafar, Oogie Boogie, Ursula, Hook, and Maleficent, they all were bosses in their own worlds, but they were also part of a council trying to turn and unlock people's hearts and find out how to make the darkness grow.
Okay.
But once 3 rolled around, that was gone.
Huh. Okay. Is that when they introduced the new world or new worlds outside of the 3?
They introduce new worlds every game, and then some are brought back for other games. Like 2, you revisit Atlantica, you revisit Halloween Town, and a few other worlds from the first game. You don't revisit Tarzan, because Tarzan is only in the first game, because Disney lost the rights to it after the game came out.
Oof. Oof.
All right. Interesting. Okay. What a strange way of making a story with all of these licenses you might not have the next time around. Oh, boy. It's like, hey, Disney, let's sit down for our meet and greet, and here's our plan. Here's all the licenses we need. It's like, no, we don't have 4 of those. It's like, what? Why not? Oh, we just don't. It's like, okay, well, I guess not. We're not using that level anymore. That plot beat or what have you. Man, that's got to be one. Just imagine putting all those assets together and trying to make a coherent story out of all these characters and what they want, and whew, it's nuts.
Unfortunately, the Disney stuff most of the time is ultimately incompatible with the stories they want to tell.
Oh, really?
They make sense. They gel thematically, but in terms of intermixing the Disney stuff and the Final Fantasy stuff into the main plot, it's next to nothing.
Okay. So it sounds,
maybe a cutscene here or there.
Yeah, it sounds like a more robust version of something like Ready Player One, where you have just people taking up any avatar, any world, doing random events for some sort of goal. In this case, you're going to that world, this magical fantasy world that as kids we knew, and now they're here and they're like, oh, okay, you're going through A Nightmare Before Christmas, or going through The Lion King, or whatever they have the license for. It's like, okay.
Tron, for some reason, in the second game.
Yeah, that was...
and that is my favorite world in the whole franchise.
What a strange thing to put into a children's themed world. Tron.
And then the sequel in the 3DS game.
Oh, really? Wow.
Oh, God, I forgot about that in Dream Drop.
A quick summary. You know the original Tron film, right?
Right.
Well, in Kingdom Hearts 2, the grid that you go into in that game is just a copy of the original. In Dream Drop Distance on the 3DS, you go into what Kingdom Hearts describes as the original grid.
So
the one in Kingdom Hearts 2 is a copy.
So not the remake Tron, the original Tron.
The original Tron film is in Kingdom Hearts 2 as a copy of the grid. In the 3DS game, which is Tron Legacy, that's the original grid.
Oh, so
that's how they're able to contextualize both films in the same series, in the same Kingdom Hearts universe.
Okay, so they did base it off Legacy. Okay.
They based it off of both in a different context, but it still kind of makes sense. But they were able to do both in one way or another.
Yeah, they just picked whatever license they got and said, this one's newer, we'll use that. And
Well, they do fully own Tron. They just haven't done anything with it.
right, yeah, Tron is one of those weird. Was it? They come out in the 70s, I think.
80s. 82 or 84.
Okay, yeah. When I saw it as a kid, I was like, "What the hell is happening?" I could never follow the story very
Well,
well.
everyone was like that as well.
It was
Ultimately
cool.
a good film.
It was fun to watch. I had no idea what was going on. So
Yeah.
anyway, Tron.
Is
Yes.
extremely avant-garde, just a really advanced concept I don't expect the gamers to appreciate.
Winnie the Pooh.
I guess when I first played this, I thought, okay, Sora, Riku, Kairi, the original stuff, it's really basic. They establish a lot of little concepts, nouns, etc. that become much more relevant later in the series, but it's also where the game thrives. Even though I know some people who are spit-taking right now. I think I'm known for not properly enjoying crossovers and fanfiction stuff because I want to see the original content respected. I think the original work of a creation is sacred in a way and is only besmirched by the presence of external elements, presumably to justify the original content's existence. That's genuinely sad. And yeah, the hero, rival, I don't know, third wheel dynamic isn't new, but you can feel Sora's frustration, heartbreak, and growth in a game that has both his childhood friends vanishing and sets him on a path to make things right, only for things to be changed irreparably. The fated hero who's fated to change along with everything else in his life. Kingdom Hearts 1 is not a terribly sad game, but that concept is the seed of the series' strongest moments. Now let's bit crush that Kingdom Hearts GBA. Spin-off? Never heard of it.
Nothing's
so
a
Chain of Memories
spin-off.
was released for the GBA between 1 and 2. What about the remake, K-Bash? Yeah, what about the remake? Actually, I played the original because it's the first Kingdom Hearts game I experienced, and because I couldn't stomach the last game's assets repeated badly for another 10 to 20 hours. Now, despite being a gameplay spin-off, despite handheld cross-company status, Chain of Memories is still directly relevant to the plot of the series, banishing any hope of normalcy for the franchise. Normally, I do comparative analysis of main series entries. I explain to everyone who constantly asks me, what about the spin-offs that don't say anything about the major gameplay elements? And you just can't with Kingdom Hearts. I mean, I could, but then so much of the puzzle is missing. And like I said, its additions are meaningful. So Team Chumbler's wandering around the Barrens when they get pulled into a story and a talking robe gives Sora trading cards, but he's kind of a bad friend and only gives you the worthless commons. So you explore all the worlds from the last game in a quest that gets increasingly confusing as it progresses. But this time they leaned into the original content. Now the bulk of the game is fighting battles and completing worlds, so let's sum up that experience. Combat's okay. It's a key-slapping adventure, nothing special, but your moves are all associated with cards. Don't ask whether he just uses them telepathically or if he's actually swinging cards around. The conceptual scope is simply too powerful for the millennial brain to comprehend. There's attack cards, magic cards, summon cards, you get the picture, and each has a point value that determines what happens when an enemy throws out a card at the same time.
So this is a card game that's randomly played for attacking and whatever?
Yes. Chain of Memories, because it was on the GBA, they couldn't translate the fighting and combat mechanics of the original to do the story, and for some reason they decided to do it.
Just the entire engine.
Yeah.
Yeah, they decided to do it on the Game Boy Advance because why not? And it's basically the story of the first game, but in between the worlds, you get more lore dumps about what the people in the Black Cloaks are. You learn about the organization. You learn about Naminé. Everything that leads into the second game in a handheld game.
Ah, okay.
Everything.
You know, the artwork did remind me of Tactics Advance, or Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, rather. But it's action, and it's with cards, which is odd, but it looks good. I mean, as a GBA game, it's pretty good. So,
It looks very impressive.
yeah. I just don't like I just do not like the concept of card games. Like when Metal Gear came out with Acid, I was like, what the hell is that? And it was a turn-based card game. I'm like, that can't be anything remotely connected to the Metal Gear, but of course it has the Metal Gear
That's
franchise.
why nobody talks about it.
I know, and the story is crazy, and it's like all these weird characters. Like, yeah, this is Metal Gear for sure, but the gameplay is ridiculous. So, yeah, not the same. Anyway.
Yours is bigger? Game fun. Yours is smaller? I will burn this cartridge to ash. You can stock 3 cards together for big, girthy numbers and swing them around, even activate special moves at certain card totals and with specific combinations. This is Sonic Blade, and you will use it through the entirety of endgame grinding. That's pretty much it. Your moves are just another expression of the RPG elements founded in the first game. Kingdom Hearts loves its menus, and leveling up alongside strategic deck building is the answer to everything in the game, not just dexterity. Honestly, the systems are good, the game's engaging. So, how about them levels? They start okay, it's squares with doors, randomly generated interiors, and enemies depending on what kind of card you use to open the doors in the first place. You can make save rooms, trading card shops, rooms where you can foil out your deck, or just overwhelming darkness, and that'd all be well and good, except as the game goes, cutscene checkpoint rooms become locked behind increasingly restrictive doors. Doors requiring a specific card number, ridiculously high numbered doors, to drain your collected cards. And you get door cards, naturally, from fighting battles. 1 or less per battle, that is.
Yeah, this game is also notorious for making you grind.
Not for levels, but for cards.
Yes. You have to grind out cards to be able to go to the next level, and you're lucky to get a card.
And you have to
because
you have to do an addition equation to get to like card or door number 10. So you have to get like 5 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And if you saw earlier that card that had the key on it, you need those to get to cutscene doors for the world. And without going through the cutscene doors, you can't finish the world.
Oh dear.
And those cards are very rare.
And they drop randomly, you're saying?
Yes.
Oh my god. What a horrible design. That just sounds like boring your player to death. Like, I can't do this anymore.
Well, this game, like
Maybe that's the real
358,
boss fight.
this game, like 358, was meant to be played in very short sessions. You go in, do a couple, set up a save room, and then log off for the day, and then come back to it later. But a lot of people decided, I'm going to play through it in one sitting, which don't do.
Yeah, that doesn't sound viable.
Because in 358, aside from, like, it doesn't have the card mechanic, it actually has the in-game mechanic of the normal combat. But it's done through missions, and if you do all those missions in one go, you get burnt out very quickly. So it's better to do 1 or 2 missions a day and then come back the next day.
Okay. I just saw Ego Dreamer talk about Castlevania Circle of the Moon, which was a Game Boy Advance game, I think. Yeah, it had a card system, but that was standard Castlevania stuff, or standard 2D Castlevania stuff. They're all very similar. They weren't random. So the drops could be random to get but that's any Castlevania game anyway. So not like this where your attack is random. That's weird. It's like dice rolls but with cards.
Well, you set up your deck in the game. It has the deck building element to it. And depending on what you put into your deck depends on what you're going to get in your first hand, and you can recycle the cards. It just takes a minute because you have to build the meter up to recycle the cards, and if you've used them in the 3-card combos, they're no longer in your deck, they're in the discard, and you have to use an elixir to get those cards back. But it also resets your hand as well, and you can cycle through the cards too.
That sounds unnecessarily complex for an action RPG. Oh boy. Anyway, these are things you do in limitations in hardware and software, and you're like, okay, let's do a card system for action style. And you're like, what? No, let's not do that. So I'm glad we've evolved, I hope, past card games, but some people like them.
Oh, never underestimate
Yeah.
what card games can be.
Whew,
I mean, it's the only one with cards in it so far.
Yeah.
So when you walk up to that cutscene checkpoint door and it says you need 7 and up, and you're all 6s and 1s, and you're just trying to get through the stupid meaningless Disney cutscenes, well, go grind, dickhead! You have to grind so much. This game would be done in a fraction of the time, but you gotta grind for specific card values that all drop randomly in a game where combat takes at least a minute. It's so unbelievably craven. And sure, you'll be glad you did it, because leveling is super important, tied directly to your health, total deck power, and unlocking special moves, but holy god, I turned off the recording for multiple full hours, because it's just trash footage. Anyway, the aesthetics are quality for the GBA, and the music, well, I hope you like bit-crushed Halloween Town for 2 hours. The worlds don't really matter, again, same as the first game, except Winnie the Pooh's, which is naturally the most poetically designed in the game, right? A powerful synthesis of mechanics and narrative, as demonstrated by the unbearably slow gameplay comparable to the flow of honey Pooh greedily devours from the pot. Fat fuck. Now, because of some plot weirdness, Sora's memories erode as he travels through the castle, forgetting everybody he already met last game. It's revealed that, spoilers, the worlds are false anyway, pieced together with Sora's memory, which is being remotely operated on by some girl at the behest of this shadowy cult that are best enjoyed after 2 games of context. And also not Riku is here, so let's hit the break real quick before talking plot. The boss combat is important to Kingdom Hearts, and here they're just about the same as before, despite the entirely different combat system. They range from pathetically easy to smashed controller hard, and some are easily exploited due to programming oversights, some fall to specific strategies, some require a fair bit of dexterity and deck building. It's kind of uncanny how comparable the boss design is, actually. What I do like about the game is its decision to push the original content, because, frankly, the Disney stuff is mostly total recapitulations of the first game, but watered down. Kinda sucks. Thankfully, the player gets to uncover the mysteries of Not Riku, Namine, Diz, the organization. I'm serious, when Disney's on the screen, it's exactly what you'd expect. Totally predictable. When Disney and Final Fantasy's on screen, though rare, you get some funny stuff. When Kingdom Hearts characters are on the screen, like Goofy's slapping Mark's scene hell yes! And the story you uncover through Sora's campaign and eventually Riku's campaign, because they gave it the effort and it shows, sets up this intriguing web of madness that would unfold over the course of the series' lifespan, some of it still unfolding today. And because Nomura was allowed to do what he wanted without too much external interference, we get this excessively dark story of manipulation, gaslighting the protagonist, a child, but we watch him overcome that genuinely vile shit with raw character, setting firmly in the narrative that Sora was chosen to be a hero for a reason, that Sora will be a hero, period, regardless of what happens to him, the situation he's in, with or without his friends, without regard for false memories or context. It's not the biggest entry, nor the best, but it serves its purpose. Now I know we're breaking new ground today. Did you know? Kingdom Hearts 2... good. Finally, we can get hype. This is it, people. The big one. Oh my god. KH2 is so stuffed with content. It's amazing the thing's not herniated and prolapsing simultaneously. Man, people are eating. More worlds to explore, a rapidly expanding story, keyblades, crafting, a genuine hardcore action game lurking below the surface like a rock in a snowball, bigger bosses, bigger story beats. Doofy's dead! Oh! But the biggest thing of all is that tutorial. Long, confusing for fans who didn't play 358 first.
So, when the game released, you can't actually you couldn't have actually played 358 because it came out 4 years after Kingdom Hearts 2.
So wait, 358 is what exactly?
358 is a DS game that you play as Roxas, who you play in Kingdom Hearts 2 in the prologue. You find out that Roxas is Sora's nobody, which is created at the time that a Heartless is created. And not only does Sora have Roxas as a nobody, but because Kyrie's heart was inside of Sora in the first game, whenever their world was destroyed, he unwittingly created Naminé, who is Kairi's nobody. And there's a whole lot of lore reasons why Kairi actually cannot have a nobody unless her heart was within Sora. But 358 is basically Roxas's point of view while Sora is in the Chain of Memories game. Telling everything that happened with Roxas, the organization, and his friendship with Axel, the redheaded dude there.
Okay, I know what you said, but my brain didn't quite follow along with what's going on. So people's hearts are in other people's bodies?
That is a running theme throughout Kingdom Hearts. At one point, Sora had 3 hearts inside of his body.
Okay.
Wow. That's more than Doctor Who has.
Yeah, it gets really crowded in there really quick.
All right. Let's just nod our heads and not talk about this and just keep going. Oh boy. All right. So 4 years after this game came out. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
To the pulled back camera, a set of tasks to exhibit the snappier gameplay, and for the first time I thought, man, maybe Nomura's a genius? Because the intro's cute and funny in different moments, but above that, it's a grounded, relatable microcosm of potentially any person's life. We watch this kid, Roxas, go through his day-to-day, come to like his friends, and feel every agonizing pull as fate slowly unravels the kid in his life. It's totally out of his control, and there's no real choice but submission. The entire sequence up until Sora's visit and departure from Twilight Town got me thinking about the creator. Who writes this kind of story? Is it somebody with fond memories of their childhood friends lamenting the passage of time that inevitably pulls us apart? Or is it a person who maybe never had that and ideated about how meaningful friendship is or can be? Are they trying to enshrine a memory, create a proxy, or write the elegy to an imagined past? I got the feeling, especially during the last somber departure, that for as much as people poke fun at the story, it could only be written by someone who could speak to the heart. That emotional content is very real, though the scenario itself is rendered ephemeral by the story. And Sora grew up...
Yeah, so he's talking about, can someone who doesn't know plotting write drama? It's like, yes, that's different stuff. You can totally do that. It's kind of like you can make whipped cream, but you're not very good at making cake. It's like you know how to make the tasty, fluffy stuff, which everyone likes, but it has no substance if there's no cake to
The time has come.
Who
Ah!
reset it?
What just happened? Oh
Who
no!
reset it? It was at 1733.
Oh god, no,
Oh,
no, no!
I'm sorry. Some technical difficulties on my end right now.
Back it up a little bit.
All right, we're around here somewhere.
There, right there. So, yeah, there's a lot of drama within the Kingdom Hearts series, and unfortunately, the English translation and dubbing ruined that for a lot of parts that were very emotional.
Yeah.
Like, with Roxas in 358, he loses one of his best friends because she decides to let herself dissipate because she isn't a real person. She isn't a nobody. She's a replicant. And she's taking Sora's memories to become Sora. That way they have a Keyblade wielder besides Roxas in the organization. And the translation for whenever she dies in the English is, "Who will I eat ice cream with now?" Where in the Japanese, it's actually more somber, and he confirms to her, "Let's eat ice cream again, the 3 of us together."
Okay, that's a bit different.
It's very much different, and it's one of those that
really goofed it.
it's one of those that you see later on down the line, especially with 3. 3 is riddled with translation errors, especially whenever it comes to Xehanort's speech at the end.
Okay, so it sounds like you have a very convoluted or difficult to understand story in the first place, and translating that from Japanese doesn't go so well, and therefore the nuance of whatever they're trying to say dramatically is lost on the translator.
Yes. Pretty much,
Okay.
yeah.
This could explain a lot of things, because if you don't get Kingdom Hearts, and a lot of people don't because it's very difficult to follow, you understand what the scenes are about. It's the music is dramatic and makes you feel things, and you're losing your friends and you're just trying to find them. That's clear. The theme of Kingdom Hearts has always been consistent, so I like that. But if you take away the narrative that explains that, you're like, okay, it looks good, it sounds good, but what the hell's going on? Are they missing each other? Do they love each other? Do they want to find each other? Like, you have to know what's going on clearly. So it's tough if it's not spelled out sometimes.
And to make matters even worse, there are cutscenes where the group of friends that are in the world that the main character, be it Roxas or Sora, is in, or what have you, they'll say something really, really relevant to the plot, and then they'll say something along the lines of, whatever, let's go get ice cream. Like, it's a total whiplash.
Oh boy. And this is Kingdom Hearts 2, you're saying?
This is in Kingdom Hearts 2, but it's also in Kingdom Hearts 358, Dream Drop, Birth by Sleep. It's in everyone after 2.
Oh boy.
There's this big tonal whiplash whenever it comes to dialogue exchanges.
Do we know the team who did this, or was this like they hired the same guys, or did no one check this? Did no one care to check? Like, how does this
So, when Birth by
Generally
Sleep
some guys,
released, it's a different branch of Square. It's a different headquarters that handled every game from Birth by Sleep up to 3. But Nomura, who is the lead writer on the entire series and the director, is the one mainstay for throughout the entire series.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, he still oversees everything.
All right. So obviously he wasn't in complete oversight of the translation.
No, that was Disney.
Yeah. Weird.
No, yeah, that's Disney being Disney, yeah.
Okay. Sad. That could really ruin it. Well, did the international versions at least have multiple language options?
3 does. The others do not, unless you mod them on the PC. But to get them on the PC,
everything else is still English, really.
Yeah. To get them on the PC and to get the actual subtitles from the Japanese version, you need to mod them. But do you really want to deal with Epic Game Store to get the Kingdom Hearts series on PC?
Some people do, apparently. That's fine.
I mean, I did, but that's because I play through the games every once in a while.
Wow, you haven't heard of piracy then? Oh, gee,
that's fine. That's good. That's all right. Anyway, let's keep going.
And Sora grew up, is growing up, changing to fit the times. It's a poignant reminder that the journey's affected him, and he's not even half done yet. He's more confident and creative with his Keyblade, having apparently become a master, clubsman, I guess? No cuts, no gashes, only a trail of splintered skulls. Metal. The major goal is to stop the nefarious remains of the organization you murdered half of last game. I gotta say, a lot of the voice work is passable or good, but some of it, coupled with the script, man.
No matter how far away you are, once you find your light.
And to kill them off, Sora's got a whole arsenal of new moves and updated mechanics. There's tons going on in terms of combat, most of which won't matter to normal mode players. Sorry guys, but the game is truly incredible for its depth. I'm actually kind of taken aback by the amount of tech for the game, the noticeable one being revenge values, where successful attacks eventually trigger a free counterattack by the enemy, forcing you to not solely rely on wild, endless aerial combos. Really lets the dual feel of many humanoid fights flourish. Magic it can be directly overpowered in this game, but it requires knowledge to use effectively. I don't have many comments on it because the best spell, Reflect, complements the action combat like a parry, and I am here for that. Of all the extras like summons, temporary partners, limit commands, so other avenues to spend MP, the fan favorite is drive forms. I love these. You sacrifice your party members to power up. So, okay, you're telling me I can erase Dognald and Goopy to become God? Yes! 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 These range from melee enhancing to magic empowering to just letting you play as Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora, more or less, though that one's Final Mix exclusive. The point is, it's cool. That's all. That's my sick analysis. I love Ninja Gaiden. Can't turn Super Saiyan, huh? Can you, Ryu? Shameful. But it's weird, when you run out of power, the idiot twins come back. Kill Goofy again?
Goofy! No! Come on, wake up!
The only trouble.
So to explain that real quick, you can hand Donald and Goofy potions and in the menu select what actions they do. And what a lot of people do is, Donald, focus on me to heal me. Goofy, focus on the bigger creatures so that way you can be the tank that you're supposed to be. But they're so bad and the AI for them is so bad that if you lose even like a fraction of your health, Donald will heal you and use one of the potions that you've given him that is a very necessary resource. Because in the middle of combat, you can't just go in and give him more. And then Goofy will target everything except for the bigger Heartless. So their AI is real dumb.
Yeah, so the AI is well, this is what's happened since well, no, I'm trying to think of, because this will come out in 2000, early 2000s, or not too late 2000s, because
so Kingdom Hearts 1 came out in 2002.
Okay.
Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memory came out in 2003 or 4. I can't remember which year it is. Then Kingdom Hearts 2 came out in 2005.
Okay, that makes more sense, because Final Fantasy 12 came out in 2006, and that's where I remember they put a lot of focus on the Gambit system, or all the AI, and you could properly say, okay, here's my priority of AI tasks I have for you, and you unlock more slots as you go on. That says, okay, here's healing. When I get less than 80%, do this. When enemy attacks, do that. Like, you could really fine-tune all of your AI. I'm assuming you can't do that as much in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Not that much, no.
Yeah. Okay. But hey, they through that system they made. I would imagine the person who designed Final Fantasy 12 said, okay, we're going to incorporate something like that, but a lot more refined. But they were borrowing elements from MMOs at the time, so I'm assuming it was more than just what they came from at Square Enix. But that's how we get better games. The company just keeps releasing better and updated versions of what they did before. So I could be wrong, but that's how I think these things go. I saw a system like that back with Baldur's Gate, the remaster. If you really wanted to go that far, in micromanaging your units to do AI, but I'd rather just pause the game and tell them what to do. But that's just me. Anyway, that sounds like an annoying gameplay to have if your AI sucks and they're using resources improperly. Yeah, annoying.
As key abilities that were unlocked via story advancement in the first game, like high jump and glide, and for some reason dodge roll, are locked behind leveling up your forms, which shouldn't be a problem if you're an experimenting Edgar or whatever, and you've got to grind them up on your own time. Thankfully, the abilities unlock on the first level up with each form, and though they get stronger, they don't need to be stronger. Honestly, I started having way more fun, a way easier time in all these games once I surrendered any notion of finishing quickly and just played the RPG, Now, I'll tell you outright that Kingdom Hearts has questionable moments. Some have used the words dumb or stupid. It's a preliminary assertion, something you say without the broader context of the games in mind, because unless I'm a crackpot, Kingdom Hearts is fascinating specifically for its synthesis of narrative and mechanics. If you've watched my show before, you've probably heard that phrase, but I'm serious. Think about it. Kingdom Hearts starts with a destined hero, someone who's incapable of not being a hero, even when he's been manipulated, even when it would destroy him, even when someone tries to take it from him, because he's the Keyblade's chosen one. If he beckons, it returns to him, and the devs clearly worked that conceit into the combat. And I get it, Mash X and sometimes Triangle is a meme. The combat's full of contextual animations for different enemy types. On normal, it can feel like it plays itself at times, but that's not a coincidence. And like, if you just mash X in the corner, nothing happens. You just get one swing. No consecutive attacks.
They're in the ground.
Yes.
That is literally the lowest, the very first enemy type you ever fight in the entire series, and they make it a point to show that they go into the ground.
You need to be hitting enemies to mash, you know, doing your job. Additionally, Sora's jump doesn't travel far or close distance effectively, it just goes up for the most part. He starts and stops on a dime. He's a largely stationary character until you commit to combat. Instead, it's Sora's attacks that close distance. Eventually, you start sliding into combat, go from ground to air, ride on the wind to slash your foes. Some of them are wild, like he's being pulled into combat because he literally is. It's shown in the first game that the Keyblade pulls him where he needs to go, though it'd be nice if it guided you through the first game's levels. It's a magnet that pulls Sora towards destiny. It's not mash to win, okay? It's about deliberately acting in harmony as controlled wielder and fated weapon, positioning appropriately and sliding into battle, executing attacks in succession as long as they're successful, as long as the pair is working in tandem. It's one of the coolest integrations of narrative into gameplay, like holy shit. Now the game's—
Wait a second, he's trying to tell me that using the attack button is a narrative something or other because it has a,
Yes.
a magnetic property that attracts him to the enemies?
Yeah, the Keyblade in the game is meant to destroy any Heartless or lead you along the way through the story. And by mashing X, it lunges you forward to the enemy that you're aiming at.
Sure,
Yeah.
but that's not a narrative example. That's a gameplay example. It has nothing to do with the development as the story or a character or a villain.
I mean, you can look at it that way because he didn't want this in the least anyway. It makes sense even though that wasn't the intention.
Yeah, but that's like arguing what's that sword from Dante? That is
His sword, Rebellion.
Rebellion, yeah, because he
Rebellion.
uses the Rebellion sword as opposed to Alistair or whatever. It's his father's sword or this or that. You're like, sure, that's nice. You could use any weapon in the game. It works fine. There's lots of them, especially with Kingdom Hearts 2. There's all kinds of Keyblades. It's not relative to him personally. It just chooses him to be used, but he can manipulate other things as well. He can use magic, do all kinds of stuff. So I'm trying to wrap my brain around what he's talking about. I don't get it. It's like saying the blades in Adam Jensen's forearms are narratively relative because he lost his arms and had to become a cyborg, and that's his only weapon when he has no guns. And you're like, yeah, sure, okay, that's true. He uses swords, or those arm blade things, whatever you call them. But they don't advance the story. They don't advance him as a character. It's just a tool that he uses to...
We mentioned DMC, but that is the purpose of Rebellion after a certain point. Especially in 5.
In 3 and 5, I think it's more relevant. But even in the first game, it was pretty much Alistair, I think. It's the first sword he gets.
Yes, Rebellion didn't exist by the first game.
Yeah. So I was... Yeah, when they do 3 was the prequel, I think.
3 was the prequel. Yeah.
Okay. I know they're trying to tell more story with action games, but you have to know what you're doing. You can't make the argument that because you're using the Master Sword in Zelda, you're advancing the story. That doesn't make any sense. You're using it as a tool.
You say that, but you say that, but it's true. Actually,
you use it. It is a plot point to get to the next part of the story, but it's not like this is like the. It needs to be used over and over again. No. Well, you need it specifically to fight Ganon, yes, but not to get through all the other plot points. And just fighting a random Goomba or whatever isn't gonna change Link's character in any way. It's just an obstacle to get over. Plot points are specific to the story, where you have to get past, but gameplay, no. That's weird.
I mean, comparing Link to Dante is like comparing an apple to a steak.
Yeah, but you're talking about the same idea. He has a weapon that's specific to him, that is chosen by time or whatever, and it's his specific tool he likes using. There's no specific thing I can think of that makes him more Dante or challenges Dante for him to become more Dante or less Dante or whatever. It's just an heirloom sort of thing. As far as I remember, I can't recall. Anyway. Oh.
Still has its dumb. Could be genius. We're up 2 points on that front, but I still think Disney's holding it back. There's more levels to travel to on your advanced gummy ships, which have been improved to be more enjoyable. Wow. Well, the whole system's more streamlined, so I'll give it that much. They got neat additions like China, the Pride Lands, Port Royal, and to be clear, I don't think they're lame to explore, okay? I grew up with these movies. I like walking through the zones. I just think it's weird that they largely exist apart from the larger plot. They're a vessel to pour your time into, waiting for something cool to happen. And yeah, the organization invading the worlds in the second half helps. And they've loaded the worlds up with so many cutscenes. By the end, I was just skipping through because it was so much fluff. Granted, it's harder to get lost in the levels the way you could in 1. They're more linear, which I can only applaud. Atlantica isn't even bad anymore. Now it's just...
Am I experiencing this in real time?
And they've
it still
broken up the
sucks.
story with a lot more relevant content.
Very much
The
so.
plot
In fact, it's
seriously
even worse.
affects the game when it's allowed to. I love it. The organization is super cool. Yeah, I said it. And they're the perfect action game bosses, unique anime villains with interesting weapons and movesets. Even the ones that died in Chain of Memories can be fought, and really early too. What's this? Behold, a sigil. Well,
In Final
let's
Mix.
have a fun battle against Larxene. I will come back later. Not to mention, for as much as I drag the Disney bits, you're telling me I can beat up the Hun? In Scar? There is something magical about just shooting beloved childhood icons dead. I was talking dumb, but there's also inclusions I
Wait.
don't understand.
The Hun? You mean Jean Yu?
Yes.
Okay, he's generalizing a bit too much there.
If you haven't upgraded your armor or drive forms even once. Mickey Mouse will randomly appear to save you. In certain fights, I must be really lucky. He saved me 7 times in a row. But more relevant than that is the drive form backfire mechanic. So drive forms are strong, but like one reason I didn't use them much was I heard they could turn you into Anti-Sora, who can't heal and mostly sucks. Really turned into a problem late game for me. Except against a certain group of bosses. Then it's just... yeehaw.
You can actually spam final form over and over, just turning into it to reduce the chance.
Yeah, but that wasn't known at the time either.
It was there.
It was. And, like, I never had an issue with Anti-Sora.
And
It was
anti-form
fair.
Sora is also part of the reason why the 2 become 1 is a piece of garbage.
So this is...
Because you can go either final form or this.
Yeah, and it's random, ain't it?
Oh, really?
No, you can go final form just fine. If you pick anything else, you're automatically going anti-form.
Okay. So this is...
Oh, right, it's Valor and Wisdom, and I forgot the other one.
Master.
Yeah, Master.
So these are...
And even Limit, which is just Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora.
So this is a ability you unlock, and then you have to figure out how to use it, and sometimes it doesn't work?
It's RNG.
Oh.
Literal RNG.
there's different forms that you can take, and they boost either your strength, your defense, or your magic. And then there's the master and limit forms that boost limit, like Genga said, is literally just Kingdom Hearts 1 Sora. Master is a stat boost to everything. And then you have Anti-Sora, which does not hit very hard. You cannot heal in the form, and it can be a hindrance.
It can be a hindrance because the only way you're beating bosses in this game is if you actually deal an actual finishing blow, which Anti-Form can't do.
Yep, you have to wait till you're out of it to actually deal a final blow
Also,
to
I think
the
it also depends
enemies.
on how often you use the.
Yeah, it depends on how often.
I think it's also dependent on how often you use a certain form.
It depends on how often you use every form that isn't final.
Oh.
Which means on the flip side, you unlock final form near the end of the game, which reduces the chance of getting anti-form.
Oh, okay. So there's all these different ways of transforming Sora or using an ability, and they're not all very effective at killing an enemy at the end, not through the process of killing them, but the last blow.
This one isn't. This one here isn't. Oh. Every other form is.
Yes, and you're also incapable of healing as well.
In this form in particular, because even Valor form can still use items, and that one's all physical.
All right. That sounds very confusing.
Anti-form doesn't allow you to heal at all.
They at least simplified. They simplified it in 3 by giving a form to every Keyblade, which is in one of 4 categories. But that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, yeah. It's in a different video of his, I'm sure.
And Anti-Form comes back in Kingdom Hearts 3 as the Rage form, which can actually attack for shit. You still can't heal, but it can actually do a finishing move for fucking once.
All right. Okay. So combat is obviously very, very detailed.
Yes.
Okay.
And funny enough, Sora gets these forms because of the 3 fairy godmothers in Sleeping Beauty.
Oh.
Yeah, they give him that ability.
So the Disney characters give him an ability to transform into other characters or whatever.
into other forms of power. Yes.
Okay.
One of the few times the Disney elements actually directly affect the Kingdom Hearts stuff.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Partner. But everybody shut up. How are the levels with Winnie the Pooh? Don't mind me. Obviously, there's tons of good content, and that's the thing about Kingdom Hearts. There's so much to take in, so much to do, and so many ways to play. I'd feel wrong criticizing it without beating critical mode, where the action gameplay is center stage. But that can't save the game flow being designed as an adventure, as opposed to the linear action experience extraordinaire that I see in it. Normal's about leveling up, equipping some items and abilities, and trashing every boss in the game. Loving every second of the adventure, because unlike so many games I cover, it revels in its humor and charm, in playing the dumbest shit completely straight.
Okay, from hell, Hades summons Oron Final Fantasy?
My favorite thing about this game is the final segment. It's a far cry from the first, which was mired in repetition and thumb damage. Actually, the thumb damage is still here. 2's ending skyrockets to the moon on caffeine-fueled turbo engines, throws a party platter
You suck
of
at
epic
QTEs,
boss
by the way.
battles directly at your forehead, then whips all that energy onto the floor, into the mud, so some dreary subhuman, no disrespect, I'm speaking literally,
You mind if I go back to that earlier clip just to point this out quick?
Sure.
It'll let me.
It's a far cry from the first, which was mired in repetition and thumb damage. Actually, the thumb damage is still here. 2's ending skyrockets to the moon.
You're supposed to wait there.
Okay.
Can you fail quick time events?
You can't fail this one, and if you can fail it if you wait too long. But if you wait like an extra second, you can actually counterattack this guy.
Okay, so it's not like in God of War where you can lose if you're not fast enough in the quick time events.
Yeah, it gives you if it tests your patience to see if you're good enough to get the most beneficial input, which is I think like 3 of them, and he got the first one.
Ah.
On caffeine-fueled turbo engines, throws a party platter of epic boss battles directly at your forehead, then whips all that energy onto the floor, into the mud, so some dreary subhuman, no disrespect, I'm speaking literally, can drone at you about Kingdom Hearts, about darkness.
So why is it that you loathe us who teeter on the edge of nothing?
Also, you can win a battle and watch a friendship speech.
You've got friends like us.
Oh, ew. No, ew!
So you can batter skyscrapers, fight a metal dragon. This is the power! This is the truth! This is the light of God!
How am I gonna face everyone? Like this?
As far as adventures go, it's pretty transcendent. It's no secret that Kingdom Hearts, just as a series, is packed with post-game content and rewards for those who want to sink in the time. Beating down the past organization members is so fun. There's so many unique mechanics to the fights. I don't think I've ever seen a lineup of so many people dressed identically that act so wildly different, and they're always enjoyable to fight. Sadly, I did not get to the hardest of the secret fights, but that's for a critical run that I'm hoping for in the future. So, let me level with you. This series is incredible, a truly unique thing that could have ended up totally cynical. And it's definitely not for everyone, but that only makes its fans stronger. Kingdom Hearts correctly assumed there was a genre of person that sings Broadway tunes to themselves when no one's around, with no training or clean-sounding voice because they just want to feel the music.
Implying people do actually like singing the songs from Disney films, I guess? That they might have the opportunity to do so. I don't think that's a mainstay in Kingdom Hearts musics.
No.
Yeah. And then Kingdom Hearts 3 did it anyway with Let It Go.
Well, that song is specifically worldwide popular, so it makes sense they would do that.
And they did
4
nothing
minutes.
different with it.
It's literally the game with Sora, Donald, and Goofy showing up in some scenes to watch Elsa sing.
It's literally a clip of the song you can look up from the movie on YouTube with Sora, Donald, and Goofy just slapped on there.
Yeah, just standing in the background, just watching awkwardly.
Like, it's the full 4-minute song.
Oh.
And then sometimes Anna will sing to Sora, but Sora's just sitting there.
No, the song is a flashback until the very last lyric.
That's right.
Okay, there must.
I know, it's fucking stupid.
It sounds like there must have been some sort of mandate or some sort of rule. Say, okay, if you're gonna make it like this, you have to include Frozen, and you have to include this, and you have to do it this way.
That's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah.
From what I've actually looked up on the development of that specific level was actually heavily
mandated,
heavily looked over by Disney.
Yeah. And if
and yet Treasure Planet got thrown out the window.
Oh.
Because Treasure Planet was supposed to be in Kingdom Hearts 2.
And then 3. And then they still scrapped it.
Hopefully, there's hope for 4. There's hope for 4.
Come on, it's like you can't fuck this up a third time. People want it.
It's just Disney just hates that movie.
But Smud, you said that it's basically running through an attraction for Disney, right? For all the worlds.
It sounds like that.
In Kingdom Hearts 3,
I mean, with the exception,
you can summon attractions. You can summon the train. You can summon the teacups.
Oh,
pirate ship,
blaster, the Buzz Lightyear blaster ship, the pirate ship. Yeah.
And you do not require a single fucking one in normal gameplay. You're only required to use the train twice, and that's it.
interesting.
Yep.
At the beginning and end of the game.
And there's no way to turn them off except for playing critical mode, which is the hardest difficulty. And anything, including the shadows, which are the weakest Heartless, can one-shot you.
Now, we've just been talking, or he's just been talking about...
Critical mode was DLC, don't you know?
Okay, but this video's just been talking about the game as a thing to experience, not a story. Like he mentioned a few points here and there, but he didn't actually talk about the story. He just mentioned it. So this is all just gameplay. And there's obviously some evolution of gameplay. There's all these multiple systems and mechanics, which you would need to have in a game like this, where you're exploring and platforming and you're doing melee and you're jumping like 3-4 times your height. So that sounds fine. That sounds good. You need that for people to care about your game. It's everything else around this where I have mixed reviews of, well, the visuals are good, I like the characters, I like the voice acting, the music's fantastic, or sometimes it isn't. And then you get this ridiculous sort of understanding of what the hell's going on, and people are like, no, you just go to this place because Goofy's over here, or you have to go to this place because Mickey's over there, and you're just like, okay, so what's...
If only it were that simple.
Yeah, well, they either don't know or it's hard for them to explain it to me. So you apparently have to pay very close attention because it's hard to follow. All right. Anyway,
yes, you also need the context of all the other games in the series too.
That's where you lose a lot of audience because it's like, what is happening?
Yeah.
It wasn't until like the past few years where you could actually play them all in one console.
Yeah, that helps.
Yeah, because remember, nothing is a spin-off in Kingdom Hearts. Nothing.
Not even the
A hotel room. A hotel room is canon to Kingdom Hearts.
Yep. And with 2.8, there is a what is it called? One of the tests, engine tests, where they're showing off what the engine can do.
Demo, yeah.
Yeah, the tech demo. A tech demo is canon to the story because it takes place right before 3. It's called 0.2.
Wait, what?
Yes, a tech demo.
No. It takes place in the lead up to the ending of KH1.
Oh yeah, that's right.
In the lead up to the final moments of KH1, because you see the kid Riku going to the door.
So they made a demo of...
We also see why Mickey was shirtless in that scene too.
Okay. They made a demo of the game in some version of the build. They said, hey, let's make this part of the story. And
yes.
They tied that into the narrative somehow. Can you play through it, or is it just a cutscene?
Yes. No, it is its own game. It is its own game. A short one, but it's its own game.
Okay.
It's like 30 minutes to an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's confusing. I've never heard of that before. But sure.
So it's like a true fan expected to own all these systems. Because none of these
all the collections are on current gen hardware and PC.
Okay.
Yeah.
Collections pretty much have everything you need.
Now they are.
Hold on.
Then there's also the online mobile game.
Really?
Well, don't entirely need it. You don't. It's not required because there's a movie that pretty much sums up the important bits of the mobile game that's in the third collection.
Oh.
Yep.
Okay.
The mobile game
got a lot.
Yeah, the mobile game itself is for the finer details, but it's not absolutely required.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it goes into the first Keyblade War and how that all went down.
Again, a hotel room, a real-world hotel room is canon to Kingdom Hearts. How about that shit?
All right. Well, we're almost done this video, so hopefully we'll get some nice conclusion here. Obviously, the guy likes it.
Kingdom Hearts is that keepsake you've never thrown out next to your bed that you pick up and think on fondly when you're feeling particularly nostalgic. Kingdom Hearts punches your heart like a strong piano chord, then lingers in the air and fades, never quite forgotten, but entirely out of sight. Because Kingdom Hearts was fated for greatness, and its legacy resounds today. Barely needs to lift an ear. You'll hear it.
All right.
And then Sora died. And then
Special
Sora
thanks
died.
goes out
The
to
end.
my $4
thank the Lord.
patrons whose names are on the screen.
All right, that was it. Cool.
And then Sora died. The end. I'm not even kidding.
Oh, so in Kingdom Hearts
kind
4.
of
I
so-
felt like my brain was melting.
In 3, long story short, in 3, because of things Sora did in the end, near the end of the game and in the DLC, he pretty much died. And in
Yes.
in 4, the trailer for 4 makes it clear that he is pretty much in the Kingdom Hearts equivalent of the afterlife.
Because there is a
That's
character
very cool.
from the
which
mobile
is,
game.
which is simply a word.
There's a character from the mobile game that is dead that pretty much tells him, "Hey, yeah, you're here. This is the afterlife."
Oh.
It's Tokyo, bitches.
What?
It's Kingdom. The thing
Exactly.
Kingdom Hearts portrays the afterlife as the real world.
Which they call unreality.
Oh.
Also known
Yes.
as Quadratum.
What?
Is Kingdom
Quadratum.
Hearts running in the Unreal Engine?
Quadratum.
All right. Well, let's get the stream memes. That was a
Which
weird.
was revealed in the Rhythm Dance game.
Really.
Which is
yeah,
also
that's also
canon.
Anyway, here's I think this is an Elden Ring meme. I don't know. It looks like it.
Where are you
Yes,
at?
that's Elden Ring. He's up to yesterday.
It's the 18th, isn't it? Oh yeah, it is the 18th. Sorry, that was yesterday. Blah.
Yeah.
Sketches by Legacy. I don't know what's going on here. Some icons. Okay, I guess that's me. Thank you, Legacy. All right, got some really poopy.
I ask again, where are you at?
I'm at April the 18th. Yesterday.
Oh, yesterday.
So
Okay.
it looks like I'm holding a flip phone or something. I don't know what's going on there. But cool. All right. Here is Whisp. And Whisp has got a bat with some nails sticking out of it. Oh, Jesus.
Okay, found it.
Yeah. See what else we got here. This is Evil.
No, that's Eric.
Well, it's Eric.
Is that supposed to be his facial hair or Joker mouth?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he had some sort of Christmas cake or something with purple frosting. Who knows? And bears. This is. What is this? What is going on here?
I know the left, the girl on the left is Crony from HoloLive. I cannot make out who the other one is.
Oh dear, I have no. Yeah. So thanks. Oh, there's more.
And then Hawk, who's just there.
Hawk is like, meh.
Like, eh.
All right. Writing is hard. Yeah, that's true. It was. Oh boy. When you begin editing your first draft, dark and difficult times lie ahead. Soon we must all face the choice between what is right and what is easy. I don't know. I think writers want to get it right all the time. So, up to you. Writing is easy. All you have to do is cross out the wrong words. Huh. That's if only we could just ramble on and just delete the crap we didn't like. When Hawk or Shiny appear, how British accents sound to Americans. Why, hello there, good sir. I've chuffed as nuts to see you looking as humbly jumbly as Her Majesty's watermelons. I remember my days at Oxford. We'd often dabble in a little rumpy pumpy before ding bang ling of fresh todger, haha. We really knew how to sack the old throbbing wobbly on a saucy twat crumpet.
Oh fuck!
Thanks. That was.
And then the other side.
How Americans' accents sound to the British. Beer and vaginas, ha ha ha. Bald eagles and shit. Fuck yes. Hamburgers in my face. My penis is bigger than an aircraft carrier, motherfucker. Touchdown. Explosions and pussy. Woo, yes, shit, yes. Holy Jesus. Who is writing this crap? Oh my god. Oh no. Discovery. Captain, is 6 a lot? That depends on context, Commander. 6 cups of coffee a day? No. Crying in 6 out of 13 episodes? Yes. Oh boy. I don't know. Is that the Discovery first season sort of thing? I don't know. Never watched it. Tried for the first two, couldn't stomach it. It was like, ugh, it's bad. Well, that feeling you get after watching Star Trek Discovery. Really? I don't remember because I sort of, what I do is I watched it and I was like, this is not for me. I didn't like a lot of things and I forgot about it. I didn't go.
As you can see, like a lot of them just don't want to look at it. It's just like trying to cover them eyes.
Okay. Kapla, brother. What the fuck is that? Gowron's like, what?
What is that? Really?
Yeah. They have so much money and they have to pay the makeup department something, so they just give them the excess.
I know, but like supposedly like that's like the original Klingon design, because like the design that you have, like the layer parts of the chronological timeline, is because like of some genetic mutation. That's why the TOS Klingons look like more like humans.
Well, that was a cool nod through DS9 to do that to the old series. But the ones in Discovery...
DS9 and Enterprise, was it? Like Enterprise had that like lore moment.
Well, DS9 originally had Worf not explain it, but he says, we do not talk about it. You know,
we do not talk about it, yes.
And then I think they in Enterprise, they just brought back the original looking Klingon, which I thought was cool. But yeah, I don't know exactly what the explanation was in Discovery. They changed them in the second season, I heard. But they did say when they go to war, they shave their heads, which is fine, I guess. But it still looks very weird. Oh my God, there's more.
A lot of people with hairs in the TOS era of Klingons.
Yeah, I know. Wonder why not? They didn't do that. Yeah. Technobabble, then and now. It appears to be a multiphasic temporal convergence in the space-time continuum. And in Discovery, it's time crystals. Time crystals. What the hell are time crystals? What the hell is he talking about?
Time crystals.
Yeah, I don't know.
But they go back. They go forward in time by 1,000 years.
Here's Garrus. This is Garrus. He has my back. He could cut each of you in half with one bullet, just like mowing the lawn. I would advise not getting killed by him. His rifle traps the soul of its victims. What the hell is this? Who wrote that?
Archangel.
Yeah, I know, but what
I don't know.
What part of fan fiction did
I
that
think it's
come
supposed
from?
to be like a parody of like a comic book introduction.
I have a very deja vu of this moment. Like, did you read this yesterday?
I didn't read any of these. No, I went straight to bed.
Okay.
When you F up a river section in Tomb Raider, oh, look at that. I've been impaled. Yeah. The new Tomb Raiders, yeah. That's why I liked that series, because it was like death porn or something. Just a reminder, Tomb Raider had this shit in it.
Yes.
What is...
That's when the reboot happened.
Oh, really?
I think this was Underworld.
The first reboot.
Wow. Okay. Here we go. Raw data, fragmented data. Oh, okay, guys, I'm not going to read all this, but...
Moving on.
It's good. I like it. It's cool. Battleships the movie. Evidence that Hollywood is really running out of ideas. Yeah, that's hilarious. Battleship. Great title.
Yes.
Can't wait for the Rubik's Cube movie.
Oh, Wii Sports.
Monopoly. The battle for Earth begins at Go. Oh my God. It's a kaiju.
I get the shoe.
Hungry Hippos. April 2012. All right. The battle for Earth begins in Africa. And giant balls. Kingdom Hearts fans, when you ask them about the story...
Pretty much.
Accurate.
Hot take, Kingdom Hearts is more convoluted than the Balkans. I'd have
I will
to
not argue with that.
I need a picture of the Balkans or something for reference.
Is that in Brazil? I guess it's in Brazil.
My reaction to the video with the lion guy. Shut up, you filthy animals. All right.
Trying to bring back Leo in this thing, Jesus.
Oh,
Take that, Mufasa.
God, no, guys, please don't mention him. And then you... What?
This is the timeline.
Darth Vader just takes his head off? I don't know.
Oh.
All right. When the first Kingdom Hearts is in the middle of the list, then maybe you have too many prequels. Wow.
Yep, there you go. The full timeline.
Holy jeez. It's kind of hard to read because it's such that they use the actual logo and it's tiny. It's like, okay. 0.2.
Birth by Sleep, a fragmented memory. Or a fragmented passage.
Oh my god. Well, we didn't cover any of this. We just sort of touched upon 1 and 2 gameplay. As a game, he likes it because it's fun to play, and all the stuff with Disney and SquareSoft Enix was fun. It wasn't like, oh, look at what a great story. It's like, oh, it's fun to beat up Squall. So that sounds cool.
Canonically, he beats you up by throwing a fireball in your face.
Yeah. Echo Revo Evo. Kingdom Hearts fans be like, okay, I'll watch that later. Oh no, it's Roxas?
That's Sora.
Sora?
No, that's Sora's new design.
Oh, his new design. Okay.
For Quadratum only.
Yeah, for
He does look like an Unreal character.
Yoko Shimomura writing the music of Kingdom Hearts. Tetsuya Nomura writing the plot of Kingdom Hearts.
The music to Kingdom Hearts is fantastic.
Well, it's that one song that they use all the time, and they just do versions of it, and it's pretty good.
No. Like, the actual world and battle songs are fantastic. Simple and Clean and Sanctuary and the new one with Skrillex.
Really?
Those are the title and opening movie songs. The actual in-game songs are fantastic.
So they actually got Skrillex
Roxas'
to
theme
do
is top tier.
a theme of Kingdom Hearts. Really, that's weird.
Yes.
Wow.
With Utali Hikaru, who's
was,
been part of it since the beginning.
All right. How Kingdom Hearts fans react when they haven't studied up on the events of X.
The mobile game.
XG.
The mobile game.
Yeah.
No. The X is key. The X is key or chi or what have you.
That's the name of the mobile is XG.
It's one of several names.
It's actually called Union Cross or Kingdom Hearts Key.
This is serious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we're 100% serious.
Why do you think we've all just been calling it the mobile game? Because it has like 3 different names.
Wow. Is this guy the next to Dekiano? You just gotta like keep him away from the keyboard for like years so he doesn't do stupid...
No, because the last time that they did that, he got really drunk, got onto a whiteboard, and created Coded.
Which is yet another retelling of Kingdom Hearts 1.
Oh, good lord. All right, friend
Except
dies,
with
only
Data
cares for
Sora.
ice cream.
The thing, a quick thing is like, it's the Star Fox approach. Kingdom Hearts 1, Chain of Memories, and Coded. All pretty much the same basic story. But unlike Star Fox, they're all canon.
Oh. How many...
Xehanorts
could there be? Birth by
Xehanort.
Sleep, Kingdom Hearts 1, Chain of Memories.
And the list goes on and on and on.
Funny enough, ironically enough, there's pretty much nothing related to Xehanort in Chain of Memories. At least not anything new.
Okay, I'm not going to ask what that is, but let's continue. Now that Disney has bought Fox, really, expect the Sunny in Philadelphia world to be DLC for Kingdom Hearts 3. Oh boy. Danny DeVito as anything in a video game. I don't know if we'll live to see the day, but man.
As a summon, he just comes out of the fucking couch.
I mean, he's still kicking.
He is. I don't know if they'll take his likeness and put it in a video game, but maybe if they have like a live action. He does motion capture, and they use his likeness and his voice. Why not?
The next one.
We almost had it for the Kingdom Hearts series with him playing Phil again, but they got somebody that sounds like him instead.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the next dream.
Leaked image. Of
And
a
then in
new
3, he doesn't talk at all.
Kingdom Hearts game, and they have Disney punching out The Simpsons. Okay. Okay.
Because Simpsons is now owned by them.
Oh, you're kidding! Oh my! What don't they own? What the hell? Jeez.
DC.
Oh really?
The Smudcast.
Yeah. Well.
And this next one is pretty much perfect.
Okay. Kingdom Hearts. First one. Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. That's the GBA. Kingdom Hearts 2. Guy's holding a pencil. Kingdom Hearts. What the hell is 358?
358 over 2 days.
That's 358.
Oh, that's what they call
Who the
it.
fuck came up with these tiles?
Nomura.
Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
Crying?
Why is he still alive?
Kingdom Hearts Recoded. He's a robot?
Your dad is Sora.
Because encoded Sora's data version of the real Sora.
He's an android?
No, it's data.
Because for some
Literally
reason,
just a data world.
Oh, okay. Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop. Is this like JoJo like subtitle? Like what? Dream Drop Distance. That's a game subtitle. All
Yes.
Right. All right.
Yes, it is.
Kingdom Hearts 2.8. Is that the remake? Or the redo?
That's the one that has the tech demo in it.
But it's the same game as 2, right?
No, it is. It's the lead up to Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's the first time that you get to see the game in the Unreal Engine.
Okay.
And then the actual prologue leads up to the ending of the first game.
Yep.
Okay, that's weird. Kingdom Hearts 3 on-time percentage 12%. What?
That's the one. That's the only one I don't get.
Yeah, I don't get that one either.
And I just played the fucking game like less than a month ago. Did everything up to Yozora. Pain in the ass, by the
Is
way.
it supposed to be a reference to Remind?
I guess.
All right. Here's when you finally watch the Kingdom Hearts 3 bonus secret ending after over a decade of waiting for this fucking game. Gay. Alrighty. Press X to kill. What?
Kingdom Hearts 2 in a nutshell.
Yep.
Oh.
Again, it's mainly because in Kingdom Hearts 2, again, you can only defeat bosses by the finishing move, which involves spamming the X button until you get to the finishing move.
So here we have
Photo mode. Photo mode in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh. Interesting. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Stupid. That's what's going on.
Me whenever Disney is mentioned, die you eldritch daemon. Oh. Look how you're telling a story.
That's supposed to be!
Yeah, I like how he's telling a story with Lego characters and then just like taking a photo. This is how I feel.
Who's that supposed to be fighting Mickey?
Himself.
I mean, himself.
I spent 1,000.
Is it Mickey's nobody?
I spent what is this? I spent that much money on Kingdom Hearts. What does that mean?
He owns literally every game and every release in the series.
And
yes, I do.
It totals to
everything.
It totals to that. Wait, is that the software? Or is that like you have to buy the hardware as well?
Oh no, that's just software.
That's just the games.
Jeez,
just software.
Wow.
1,000.
Yeah.
Well, the games themselves.
There's that many. And that many releases.
Jeez.
Including re-releases, collections, remakes, everything.
Oh.
You poor bastard.
My favorite Final Fantasy character that they included in Kingdom Hearts is Sephiroth because he has no real purpose to be there. He just shows up, beats up a teenage boy, and leaves.
And then
really now.
What a strange reason to like a
I was really pissed when they didn't.
And then Smash, you can replace Kingdom Hearts with Smash, and replace Teenage Boy with anything really.
Yeah, but you still get to beat up Soaring in Smash.
You guys.
Yeah, now.
You guys.
Is Kefka in the Kingdom Hearts universe, or is
No.
it just only Sephiroth?
It's just the games that Nomura had a hand in, which is 7, 8, and 10, and then for some reason Vivi from 9 and Setzer from 6. Setzer in Kingdom Hearts 2, and even then at the very beginning of the game.
They bring Setzer. That's
And the characters from the world Ends with you.
because he has an airship.
No.
You just beat him up with a stick, with a foam bat, and move on.
Oh my!
Voiced by Crispin Freeman, though.
What? Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, voice by Christmas.
Huh. I'll have to see that little clip then. I love Final Fantasy VI. Why they include that in Kingdom Hearts is bizarre, but fine.
And then Vivi from 9 as well.
Well, Vivi was a very beloved character in 9.
But they do just as much nothing with him as they do with Setzer.
I would imagine so, yeah. All right. You guys always act like you're better than me, and here's all the other characters looking at him. Two of them come from her, by the way. Oh.
Yep, the blonde one and the black-haired one come from her.
All right.
The blonde one is her nobody.
Donald, would you heal me just once? Sora, the day you stop losing your powers and starting over a level 1 like some big palooka will be the day I heal you.
And it actually happened. In Kingdom Hearts 3, he actually heals you for shit.
Okay. And a few. The snowstorm can't get us here.
That's in 3.
Oh.
In the frozen world.
Yeah.
All right. Lots of stuff going over my head there. Obviously insider jokes. But wow. That was pretty wild, even if it's just about gameplay. I was not too confused, but enough to go.
Of course you weren't. Of course you weren't. He didn't talk about story.
I will ever recover from this.
Yeah, no, I'm not feeling that bad. I can take a nap
Yes,
and
right.
work out and feel fine. I won't be confused and like, what the hell did I just do the past 3 hours? What the?
The day we actually
I
talk
was
about
already drunk from the get-go.
the day we actually talk about the lore, that's going to be a jumbo-sized smut talk in and of itself.
You like talking for 8 hours?
And then that smut talk will somehow be canon to the series.
Well, if we do something like that, it will take probably multiple
people that know their shit.
Well, yeah,
This is like fucking Bitcoin, no NFTs. Like, oh, it was there, so like it's part of the blockchain now. You can't erase it from now anymore. Fuck no.
You've opened the floodgates.
That's the new SquareSoft or Square Enix president talking about NFT. The future of gaming is blockchain, believe it or not. Not sure what that means. It means many things, but I'm not sure specifically what he's referring to. I have to read that article.
That reminds me, like when I had like my first software developer job, and my CEO told me that like, oh, the future is serverless. We're gonna like have all these websites without servers. And I asked him like, how much experience do you have in this business? Well, I made some WordPress blogs in my time. Okay, where do you store those?
In the void. In the void.
In the blockchain. Everything's on the blockchain, guys. It's all encrypted. Where's the blockchain, sir? A computer? Yeah. What do you call that computer? Like functionally?
A Macintosh?
What does it do? Anyway, that wasn't as bad as I thought, and it was actually not bad. Of course, as we know, we didn't cover the story, which is great, because then we probably would have hurt ourselves, and I don't think we could just say...
Actually been here for hours, yes.
Yeah, I don't think I would have just slowly hey, who wants to do a Kingdom Hearts video on story? I wouldn't have just done that. it would have taken a little bit more planning on my part and find the right people and find the right video and whatever presentation that you guys, if say it was one of you, would like to clarify to make sense of what's going on, because you have to watch the video first and tell me what this is about. Because I tried watching some videos like that, didn't get very far. So it's probably not the best bet. Like, I would do a Smud Talk. I would just have one or two guys on, and we'd start like saying part 1, and we'd talk about that, and then we break it down as each game goes by.
Imagine that, like, Spud makes like a.
And I know people I can
analysis
by the games.
I know people I can bring on for that if we ever do that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to do a plot analysis because that sounds like, why would you do that? It's just not.
Not alone, you're not.
Well, I'm not saying I can't do it, but it sounds like something that I wouldn't be interested in just because it's not my style of game. And I don't like the idea of having so many characters that are pointless to a story. Like, I don't see the need for, here's a plot.
That's the thing. They're not. Nothing is pointless. Nothing is
like
outside of the lore.
Like the beginning and the ending. Like anything that's between those two is pointless.
Oh yeah, right.
The Disney stuff is the Disney stuff is either pointless or redundant.
Okay, so
I've played these games since 2002 and followed the story. I know what happens. I still don't understand it.
No one does.
Nomura does, apparently.
No, not even he knows.
Even if you play through that, you're still going to come out blank by the end.
Yeah. Well,
pretty sure Nomura was drunk half the time when he was writing all this.
I'm not saying
it just sounds like a fan fiction.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it does sound like a fanfic that they're just adding more stuff without thinking about what they're doing. And trying to jab stuff like they're just, I want to do a prequel, and that's not enough. I'm gonna do another prequel, and I'm gonna go back to the future, and I'm gonna do this one over here. And it's like, no. You're not doing it properly. You're not thinking things through. You're just adding stuff and trying to make some rational argument why this plot is happening, and it doesn't quite work that way.
I do know, like, for sure, like for 100%, that this guy should be the one who writes Half-Life 3. Because this is like the kind of person that can like have like that kind of universe in his mind.
The thing with Half-Life series, it's always been consistently good. So I don't think they're going to do a third one.
Well, I mean, like, a game that they released 2 years ago, which was a prequel to Half-Life 2, is kind of suggesting that they're going to do it.
I know, but that was more of a tech demo, and they said, hey, we can do cool stuff with virtual reality, and let's put it
Valve will never count to 3.
They did. Several times, actually.
Well, anyway.
They just, like, don't name it like that.
If we're going to do a Kingdom Hearts thing, it will take a bit of planning on my part, so it won't just be, like, on the weekend thing. It'll be a multi-stage Smud Talk, and we'll have multiple people come in. We'll do multiple videos. We'll do diagrams. We'll have all kinds of stuff. And I mean, that's to do the justice it deserves, because people say, "Oh, this is crazy. This is stupid." I don't think it's stupid. I think it's convoluted, and you have to present.
Yes, it is stupid.
Well, at the end of the day, it probably is. But I don't think the individual stories are dumb. I just think that it's so messy that it's hard to follow, and to have an overarching reasoning behind everything is the tough sell. That no one knows what's going on exactly. To say this is where we're going, we don't know what they're going to do next. That's the problem. There's no goal in sight. It's just, I need to get my friends because they're part of me in more ways than one. It's like, okay, fine.
And now that after 3, they've pretty much wiped the slate clean on what they wanted to tell. We don't know what is going to happen next, and I am fearful.
No, we know what's going to happen next, because the whole next arc is finding the Masters from Union Cross and then the Master of Masters, which was over all of them.
Yeah, but that's the goal. What about everything else that could happen?
Yeah, that we don't know.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, thanks, guys. That was fun. If you want to do this again, we'll plan it out. We'll figure out when you guys are free. And I'm sure... Do we have any other Kingdom Hearts people that would love to talk? I know you might know some fans as well that could help out covering this thing. We might need to have more than a few because it's hard to follow. It's going to take a long time. Not everyone's going to be available. And I'm sure you all have different theories that would only make sense to other Kingdom Hearts fans. So I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure, maybe. So, yeah, we'll plan it out if we want to do it. Anyway, thank you so much. That was only 2 hours. It wasn't that bad. Good stuff. Thanks, guys. Have yourself a good evening, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Take care.